Hello and welcome to another episode of Working Title. I'm Ryan Fring with the BitLife Show, and today we talk to Jordan Post, a gaffer, grip, cinematographer who we work with a lot, and it's actually been great to have him on the show, not only because of our relationship, but because he taught us new things, like where did the word gaffer come from? No, you'll have to tune in to find out. And he's a very talented person when it comes to lighting and creating a look and executing a certain vision. And so it's been really great working with him, and we're really excited to have him on the show. So check it out. So thanks, Jordan, for joining us. Jordan Post, ladies and gentlemen. We clapped one time, we should clap again.
We now clap for everybody.
We don't really have an opening.
Okay. That was it.
We just kind of...
I feel honored.
There's a different opening.
Do you want to come up with an opening for us? We can do it again, and then... No, don't do that, because I like our openings.
So you were just talking about 50 Shades of Grey. Why don't we just start there? Yeah. I mean, of places to start.
It wasn't very good.
Why did you go? What?
Brittany is a large fan of the book.
Okay.
So Brittany's my fiance.
Nice.
And she wanted to see it, and I just went with it. So,
did you have any knowledge of it beforehand? Were you aware?
I knew what it was about.
Yeah.
And it was that it's like a pornographic book, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was interested to see what they would be able to show.
I wonder how they're going to adapt that for the screen. You know.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
I hope Brittany listens to this. Like, you were interested in seeing this?
In my opinion, I think it's the one time that the pornographic version of the Hollywood film would have been better than the Hollywood film. Like, that's the only occurrence where that could actually happen.
So is there anything worthwhile there? Specifically lighting. Did you notice anything that was like, oh, that was nice?
The location was pretty cool, and they had some really cool lighting coming in.
The location.
How many shades of light was there?
50.
50 Shades
Was
of
it
Dark.
at least 50 Shades of Dark?
50 Shades
50.
of Dark.
That's
50
a
shades
sequel,
of
right?
half light, half dark.
half CTO.
Have we explained yet why Jordan would care about lighting? Or
No. We're just going to keep this going as long as we
Well,
can.
hopefully everyone read the description.
And saw the intro.
Which is somewhere. Oh, yeah, there's probably an intro. Yeah. So, what do you do?
I am a grip, gaffer, videographer, DP, whatever.
So you said something there that I didn't know of for the longest time, and many people probably don't. Gaffer and even grip. So what the heck are those?
So basically what I do is I'm involved in the lighting department of films. Every film has lights everywhere. I mean, you have like this frame, and there's light coming in. I mean, the frame is basically hiding all these stands and this forest and trees everywhere of stands that are all around the picture, and it makes it look quite beautiful. So I do that. I manipulate light, and it's
and let it be known that we kind of had this set up, and then Jordan walked in and, in true Jordan style, said, "Can I help you out with anything?" and started fixing things because we can do the lighting, but not like Jordan can.
We also have the space now to do the lighting.
Yeah,
it's very
Cooler.
have you ever heard, like, has any, like, old gaffer ever told you, like, the origin story of the name? They're like, way back when, early in the days of cinema, old Jim Gaffer started it up.
Jim
Well, I
Gaffer again.
believe it's a very old wooden Civil War ship. But
I think it's Spanish for whale's vagina.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure this entire conversation just got far too smart for the show.
Are we still talking about 50 Shades of Grey?
I'm confused, right?
There's whales in there.
it's I believe the origin is actually it's British, and gaffer means boss.
Oh, okay.
Generally. I believe. I'm not.
So everyone, I want to be the gaffer.
Yes.
Call me the gaffer.
Yes.
But I don't want to do lighting.
That's all right.
I just want the name.
Got names for everything over there.
Maybe you could be King Gaffer and then Gaffer.
Ooh,
Gaffer
or best
Overlord.
best boy gaffer,
Best
There
boy.
you go.
or best girl. Is there a best girl?
This is best boy.
Best boy
Best
who's a
boy.
lady.
Best boy grip gaffer.
Best
We
lady.
should stand up for
I
the
want to
women.
be the key grip then. There's a key grip.
Those are the people who just stand around holding the keys in the building.
They sound important.
Yeah.
They
They
really
What do
do.
you think of the lighting in here? I don't know. Go ask the gaffer.
It's pretty much it.
Is that how you have to do it?
By the way, that was the British accent we needed earlier.
That was
Go, Esther Gaffer. Crikey.
right. Here we go. Then.
I want you to speak with an accent the rest of the show.
Now I've angered that audience, that one person on
Just
the other
as
side
long
of the
as
pond
Jordan
watching.
doesn't storm off, it's fine. As long as he doesn't get up and throw the headphones.
So what are things that you think about when you're setting up lighting and before is somebody here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Scott's
Hello,
sneaking
Scott.
in. There he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott.
Yeah.
Where were we before we were rudely interrupted by ourselves? So what are you looking at? What are you thinking? How do you do it? I've noticed you were the first person I ever saw, for skin tone, holding your hand out and looking, where you're setting up the lighting to look at that. What are you looking for? What are you thinking about?
Well, I mean, you kind of go into a room, and nowadays it's changed a lot from like back in the day where with film, where you'd have to have a light meter and you go in and take readings and everything. You have to get up to a certain ASA, and now with the camera so like sensitive, you don't really need to do that. You can kind of go off what the natural light's doing, and basically what I like to do is just augment the natural light and kind of use that as inspiration. If there's like a window over here, maybe push a whole bunch of light from that direction. And you can always do those like unmotivated pops of light that just look cool and don't really need any explanation at all. But I mean, you're basically going into a situation and seeing what's working for you and trying to make it look better and take away like the harshness of a lot of the stuff. So it's fun, and,
How'd you get into
That's
it?
what I want to know. How
Yeah.
did you get into
well,
gaffing? Being the
You
king,
met a British guy, right?
Right, being the king gaffer.
He's like, oh, come over here with your gaffing.
governor. Tea.
We now pissed off a second person. So we just, that's two.
Aaron's like, that's not how it is.
They don't say that over here.
Our one friend who's in in England.
Aaron.
London, Ireland.
How did you get into this? How did you?
Well,
Because you're also fairly young. I mean, you have this dashing beard, but
thank you.
you're not an old guy.
Yeah. I'm not old. I'm 25.
Strangest question.
But so I went to Stout for a while, and I kind of knew I wanted to get into video production, and then I realized that they didn't have a program, so I transferred to Milwaukee, and then I kind of got into their program and started doing some things, and then I had a kid, and that kind of really kicked me into gear. I was like, well, I really gotta
Get to work.
get on it. Yeah. So I started with Production Club, which is this club that like kind of produces like short films and like gets people to try different roles out. And I met Quinn Hester, who was gaffing on that, and he kind of got me into lighting a lot, and that's where I kind of picked it up, a lot of it. And then I knew Betty Allen at Flip 11 Creative, and they were looking for an intern at the time, so I got in with them, and they kind of started teaching me stuff, and then that's where I met John Klein and all that stuff. And then I met Brooksy, and he got me in with Perk, and basically it's just knowing a whole bunch of different people and knowing the right people and being in the right spot at the right time and being super lucky, basically. And then they kind of got me into gripping and stuff, and then I kind of started branching out a little bit and shooting a little bit and gaffing a little bit for some companies, and that's basically how I got here.
So is that where you want to keep doing? You want to keep gaffing, or
Yeah, I think.
you mentioned videography a little? Do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
care about cinematography? Do you want to do that, or what's your plan?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love shooting. I think it's really like inspiring, and it's really fun. Adding the camera in, because with lighting, it's just the lighting that you have, but with like camera, you have like all these different aspects that you have to think about. I think I'd love to shoot in like 10 years when I've learned lighting and I've learned a lot more.
You could just make it up like we do.
Yeah.
Not wait 10 years and just.
I don't know anything about editing.
Give me a flapper over there. Yeah.
Do we have any of this extra coverage rollers of footage?
Yeah, just, okay, you go.
Yeah, it's the inside filmmaking, and we've certainly learned a lot of terms from you, which has been a blast. Stinger, for instance, and different lighting things. And why do you think that is? I mean, you could call it an umbrella and a flag, or I guess flag's easy, or an extension cord and things like that. Why do you have all these things that confuse the first-time filmmaker?
Well,
Don't say a British guy.
Yeah.
Well, the British guy was like, we need to call this thing different.
Oi, get over here and bring this thing out. That's his Australian friend.
Yay, we're slowly knocking people off the continent. Just narrowing it down.
well, Stinger, it actually used to be just like a cord, and you just wrap another wire around it, and you get stung by it. It used you didn't have the plug back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Like it used to just be like a live wire.
You would.
Yeah.
Really?
You just wrap a cord around
Well,
it.
or you poke it into it or whatever.
That sounds
but,
really
you
dumb.
get stung by it.
Yeah.
So how many lighting people did we
It
go
was
through
called
in
a
the old
murder.
school?
It explains your meteoric rise because safety-wise, you haven't electrocuted yourself yet.
Yeah, not
Everybody
yet.
else is dead.
Yeah, it was first called a
pride
murder.
myself.
and,
Yes.
We just
Safety first,
all right.
everybody.
So butterfly.
I don't
Where's that from?
I'm not sure. I mean,
A big
can we explain what
big
that
flag.
is?
majestic
Looks like a
butterfly.
big white flag.
Yeah.
Big.
Mo-
Can it be?
Mothra?
Can you use different materials in there for a butterfly, or is it just?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's
What
a whole
is
bunch
that?
of different flavors, is what they like to say.
Oh, flavors of butterflies, because that makes sense.
Can we explain
I
what
like
a
the orange
butterfly
ones.
is?
Yes. What is a butterfly, Jordan?
Butterfly is like a big, like 12 by 12 or 20 by 20 foot frame in which you use to diffuse or block light, and it basically smooths out the light and makes it look very soft. And
How is
Not to
that
be confused with a
different?
large flag.
Or a bounce?
I totally
bounce,
knew
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
What
or
are
a
so?
bounce.
What are the difference? And then like that red thing back there, which is what I like, or not red, blue.
Oh,
No,
it's
it's
like,
not
what are you
red.
looking
No,
at?
the blue thing back there.
Guys, I think Julia's colorblind.
Seriously, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'll just keep drinking
That'll
with
help.
my blue cup.
Yes.
The water that we have in
Yes.
Yes.
The water that we have in our
The
blue
fortified
cups.
water.
very dirty.
Yes.
So,
Okay,
yeah, so
a
what was-
butterfly versus a bounce versus
you.
a flag.
Well, butterfly is usually meant for like
Big.
diffusion.
Okay.
I guess is the term. I mean, you can still use it for like blocking light and whatnot. But a bounce, then you just like basically redirect the light and point it somewhere,
Okay.
and
You're bouncing.
you're
light,
bouncing,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You're bouncing
wow.
it. Yeah.
These names weren't
It's
very
something that makes
creative.
sense, finally.
Stinger,
Yes.
it stung you.
Yeah.
Bouncer, it bounces light.
Yeah.
And then,
Well,
and
but
then
there's
she,
the
you
other-
get
Gaffer,
butterfly.
Gaffer, they're like, oh, it's a guy who gaffs people. And they're like, wait,
what? No.
It's the
Makes
British
sense.
guy, get out of here.
The ever elusive C-47.
Yes.
Yes.
There's, I mean, I don't think anybody knows, and people like play around with what the origin is. They like screw around and like give you like fake stories about it and stuff.
From what I've heard, is it was like in LA, they have like a big storage area, and that's where they used to store them. It was in row C, column 47, something like that.
It's a clothespin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think
I've been on the stages and I've actually heard like the gaffers and the people ask for C-47s, and I was like, I totally know what that is.
yeah, it's typically like around here, like we call them bullets or clips, or just because C-47s
you
is
say
so
bullet.
it's so
I
cumbersome.
feel like such a douche too. Like, oh, do you have C-47? Like the C-46 is not good enough.
Well, and we work with a
Feels
lot
so
of
dumb.
like independent film people, so we're like, "Do you have C-47s?" And they're like, "What?" We're like, "The clothespins are there."
Oh,
Like,
yes.
just stand back and don't touch things. Please. Have you been on any big
off.
productions, any movies in Milwaukee or?
well, I mean, I mean, there's some big movies that come through. It's not typical. I mean, Transformers came through before I was really in the industry, so I didn't get a chance to get on that. But there's a lot of like big commercials. I worked on a spot with Nike, and the gaffer was Ian Kincaid, the gaffer for Django Unchained and like all like Kill Bill
Nice.
movies and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. And,
Which spot was that?
it's for Nike. It's with Aaron Rodgers and
okay.
Jordan.
Oh, okay. Brian was on that, right?
Yeah, Brian was.
And Olivia Munn was hanging around.
Great. Now I gotta
Please.
Now I gotta
Go ahead,
find that
continue.
commercial.
Everyone be quiet.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I don't know if Olivia Munn was there. I was only on the first day, unfortunately, so I wasn't on the second day. I had another job, but
So you
Oh, you were too good for it. Nice.
I have a question,
And
Brian.
that's who we work with.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club. So I have a question. You name drop somebody, which you explain who they were. Because I don't know, and I'm dead serious about this. Is there like big name gaffers that are in the house that if you do that you would know?
That
Like,
you would geek out about.
right, like directors would geek out about Spielberg and Hitchcock or
Fincher.
whatever, or Fincher,
Yeah.
but then and then writers would be like, oh, David Koepp and this guy, like all these people, but it's like I don't know that world. So are there people like that'd be like, holy crap, I know all the movies you've done and stuff like that, or not so much?
There definitely are. I don't know all their names.
Okay.
I usually when I get on sets like that, I'll like go to IMDb and like,
Yeah,
see their names
nice.
and stuff
You
like
work
that.
on-
I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, I mean it's really cool. I mean he told me to move like a floppy, which is like a big 4x4 flag and like turns into an 8x8. But
It's
anyway,
not something you stick in a computer.
Yeah, it's
That's
not a
not
floppy
floppy.
disk.
It's actually pretty hard.
What's a floppy
Yeah.
disk?
Yeah, wrong audience for that.
But he
like a
told me
CD.
to
What's a
told me to move, and I was like, "Oh my God, yes!"
Yes, sir.
Like, that was
Anything.
that was
Anything
it.
you
Like,
want.
It's
Anything
like
else.
the interaction I was had with him, but like I got to see him like work and do everything he did. Like and we had like a whole bunch of condors, which are basically like cherry pickers with like lights on them and stuff like that. Which it was really cool. We probably had like I think it was like a crew of like 50 to 75 people, and the shots we ended up using was literally 3 seconds of the video, like which is like a 2-minute video. Probably cost them like $100,000, I'd say, at least.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for just those 2 days. So it kind of shows you like the budget that goes into something like that.
Yeah, and what were you? Were you a grip? Were you
I was a grip, yeah.
You were a grip.
Yeah.
And so for people who are interested in doing this sort of thing, how did you get your start? I mean, you said that you started working with Flip 11 and that sort of thing. Was it the internship that kind of kicked that off and you started meeting people, or was there, one specific thing? Is there a resource people can use, or?
Well, I mean, honestly, school is a good place because you meet a lot of people who are into it. But you don't learn, I mean, depending on the school, you don't learn, like Full Sail, you learn a lot, but like Milwaukee, you don't learn anything. They have like a few classes where.
Shining endorsement.
Yeah.
I mean, like they have a
We
few
are on a
classes,
roll
like-
today.
It's an art film program,
Yeah.
so you're not going to learn any, sellable skills.
Yeah, and that's fine. But like, it's not like practical. Like,
No,
I mean, you're
it's not fun.
you're not selling your art.
Right.
I mean, you're doing spots and you're getting on trucks or whatever, and you have to learn the equipment. So I started out doing a lot of free things, and that gets you in a lot of spots. Like that's how I met you guys, like through Firmament Films. On what was it? Game Day.
Noise.
Noise.
The noise.
Noise.
The
Yeah.
Noise.
That's how we all
It's
met.
currently playing on the screen right now.
Yeah.
So good.
Or it's not because Jeff is lazy. I feel like
That has happened
live.
once or twice where somebody went, "Where's the video clip?" And I'm like, "Oh, I skipped that part of the episode, didn't I?"
Because we don't rewatch these.
I mean,
We
I
just
spend
create.
hours on editing.
minutes and minutes.
Minutes.
Just that you go, my timetable's a little off from everybody else. Hours equals minutes. So I spent a day once working on a video. That's like an hour or 46
You just
minutes.
hit the edit button, right?
Yeah.
Skip the render. And
It just edit and it goes, oh, and obviously here's what everything you need. Blah, 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 blah.
You always make fun of this light over here that we have, the
the
Toda
Toda.
from
I hate
from
that
Lowell.
light.
Why?
What lights do you like? What do you like to work with?
Well, I mean, there's like a right light for the job. And
Right tool
the
for
Toda
the
is
job.
usually not the right light
I was
for
just
the
saying,
job.
is the Toda
cliche.
ever the right light for the job? No. Okay.
I mean, maybe like one instance where it's just blowing light everywhere and just
Maybe in
uncontrollably.
the instance where
yeah.
it's the third light that you have.
Yeah. It's like, well, I guess we got nothing else. Could use my phone light.
It's that
I
or
guess.
phone lights. Yeah.
So you're unscrewing light bulbs. You're like anything,
Yeah.
not
Anything
the
else than
Toda.
this.
Yeah, it's just a terrible light.
Yeah.
I get it.
So why is it a terrible light? What is it about it? Is it just because it's so bright?
It's like when you look at it right now, you're going blind.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm going to keep looking at it so guys don't mind
nice.
me.
Sorry, Jordan, go ahead.
It just
Oh, it's burned in my eyes.
it just craps light everywhere. Like it just doesn't control. You can't control it at all. I mean, I
Not
guess you
even
got, like, little,
with black wrap or flags
I mean, you
or
can, but it's a pain
butterflies.
in the
or-
ass. Like,
What a mental image. I've never
Just
thought of
like-
something crapping light before.
it's gonna have an animated light crapping everywhere.
It's the Pixar lamp coming out and just light.
So if you recommend some lights for, like a basic light kit, what would that be? Not the Toda.
Not the Toda. I mean, just like a standard Airy kit. It's
Yeah.
like solid. With
What's in the standard Airy kit?
Like a 750 or 1K with the softbox, and then like maybe two 650s and a 300 or something like that. Just all Fresnels. Because then you can like control them and like you can spot them or flood them. You can use. It actually has barn doors, so it's not shooting light everywhere.
Now, do you own any Airies or
No,
what do you
no.
do? Any?
I mean, I normally just rent.
Yeah.
And like I'll just if I'm on jobs, they have them too. Like so, it just doesn't make sense. And I'd like to someday, but that's like $3,000 for a kit starting out. So
Say, I'm assuming it's cheaper to rent it for the few times that you're going to need it than would be to go out and buy it. And
then the client just pays for it. It's like, all right.
There you go.
Yeah. So do you work with them a lot in pre-production when you do get to gaff? With us, it's kind of been like, oh my gosh, let's get Jordan here, and then all right, Jordan, here you go.
Yeah.
by the way, we need to start
kinda
filming
just
in 10 minutes,
thrown
so can
in.
you,
Yeah.
can you throw it all together?
But other jobs that you've gaffed on, have you had that ability to kind of work out?
Some. I mean,
with the UW stuff that we did, we brought you in and said,
Yeah.
okay, what do you want?
Yeah.
All right, how about a little smaller?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely helps out a lot. And because then you can if you're need a really big light, well, you can plan on that. But if you have like a big truck, like a 5-ton or 3-ton, just comes with you, you typically don't have to scout because you have all the tools.
Okay.
Which is nice. I mean, you still should scout because then you know everything and usually when you scout, it's you throw half of it away anyway because the shot will change or something else will change. But it's I mean, yeah, I do try. I try and scout when I can, and then especially because on some of the stuff that I do gaff on, they're smaller budgets, and well, we can only afford 2 lights, and it's well, all right, let's see what we can do, and what's the best light for the situation, and stuff like that.
One of these two, I imagine.
What's that?
One of these two is the best light for the situation. One of the two that you have available. Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest mistake that beginners make in lighting, or what are some things? What are just some of the basic things that people need to?
Yeah, some
to do?
good initial tips. Yeah.
I think overlighting. So just using too many lights. There's the art of lighting is.
Don't worry, that didn't get
You're
picked.
safe, I promise.
The art of lighting is, it's adding light, but it's also subtracting light. So the right situation may not call for a light. It may call for a negative fill, which is just a big black cart. And it may look beautiful. I worked on a job in Rockford just a few days ago, and they had this huge row of windows, and it was just this portrait of this woman, and the right call was just to put up a black card, and they were done. No lights whatsoever. And it was just quick like that, and it's quick breakdown and stuff like that. So you really have to take a look at the situation and not try and overcompensate or just try and light because you just have the lights. It's using everything in the right situation.
Now, you get paid the same amount for just putting up that blackboard, right? And then you would if you were standing there for 2 hours lighting. This is a good job. It's a good job.
$200 fee.
Oh, yes. For the knowledge to know just to block that light. I like it.
So how much do you work with a director of photography? What does that relationship look like between a director of photography and the person who's in charge of the look setup in the camera and the gaffer, the lighting king?
The lighting overlord.
The boss.
Yes.
Boss.
The boss. That's what they call it in Australia.
Well, I mean, it's
pretty
a
sure.
interesting relationship. You'll meet a lot of different people, and some people know how to light, and some people don't, and it's just kind of learning how to balance that. And I mean, it's fine if you do or you don't. I mean, whatever. Some people just say, "I want this," and that's it. That's what they want. And some people be like, "Make it look pretty," and it's all right, this is the shot, and I'll just go about my business and do that. It's kind of and a lot of, I think the best relationships are ones that work with you. So they'll have an idea or a vision, and they'll say, I really feel like this needs to be there needs to be a big source coming from over here, and then what do you think? What do you want to use for that? And just kind of working together. And we do a lot of that on your guys' shoots and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask. With behind us, we have the Princess Knight set, so maybe we can show one of those shots with the awesome lighting. It's really good lighting, though.
It is really
Yeah,
good
the
lighting.
lighting.
Yeah.
It's probably the most that we've had for the Princess Knight.
Yeah.
The most recent shoot.
Because
Yeah.
on the balcony, this is a balcony, a castle balcony overlooking a kingdom, so it's facing outside. And the challenge was, okay, this all out here, it's ambient sun coming in. And we kind of had an idea on that, and then some other ways to punch and light the puppets. But then you kind of invented this crazy setup that worked really well for what we had.
Yeah.
You know, we probably would have liked to have more lights.
Yeah.
In this case, but not just one negative fill.
Yeah.
Is that not going to work here?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy change. I mean, you guys have seen it. With like when I first showed
Turn
up
your phone off.
on the first day of PK, I remember showing up and all we had was like a little kit, and I was like, all right, well, this is gonna be difficult because we have like with the little kit, like you don't have a lot of control. It takes a lot more time.
So
like,
you're saying you don't like the Toda?
Yeah, I don't like that Toda.
Don't like the Toda.
Fuck that guy.
Look at that. It's so nice.
But like, I mean, like usually you can make anything work. Like with the little kit, it's great, but like you can still make it work if you have to, and it's all like time and what looks better. And I mean, I can make anything work with the Toda. It just might take me like 5 extra minutes to like block all the light and whatnot.
Sure, right.
But we kind of like have evolved a lot, and thanks to John Klein and MK Production Rental.
Website down below.
Again, that's
Website down below.
I don't actually know the website.
MKE
MKProductionRental.com.
Let's all say it together.
Yes.
MKProductionRental.com. That's a free ad.
Yeah.
They can totally
John.
just cut
Thousands
that out
of
of the
dollars.
episode and air it on television. So people be like, the hell was that commercial?
They're like, you gave us a 3-second commercial for a 15-second slot.
Did you guys ever see those High Life commercials? It's just like, High Life! That was it. Those were the best commercials.
Yeah. Like, you want a 5-second? Okay.
We could loop it 3 times. Same commercial, just so people go, what the hell am I watching?
You know how you finished that bit.
Huh.
You know how you finished that bit.
Huh.
You know how you finished that bit.
I do.
You know how you broke it.
What?
That was
That was-
fail.
oh.
You failed.
So you were saying,
I thought I
Oh,
had
yes.
3.
But yeah, it's evolved to
So professional.
You know, we get a lot more lights.
I love it.
We get the air kit. We get like a whole bunch, whatever we need. Like I guess you guys have a whole bunch of C-stands now. You've also bought a lot of equipment, which has helped out a ton. But John's like donated a lot of stuff and a lot of. I mean, it's just helped us out a lot and really amp up the production value. And with this being such a wide courtyard shoot, like it was difficult because like you can't put like certain lights up there because we don't have them. We don't have access to them. We only have access to
Like
certain
a
lights.
100K soft sun?
Yeah.
We didn't have that?
Yeah, and we don't have the space. I mean, it's
I don't
like
think we have the power.
15. Yeah, we don't have power either.
You know that scene in Christmas Vacation when they show his power box and the wheels are just spinning around in circles? Pretty sure that's what happened.
So I had to
Monthly
manufacture. We had to go to Home Depot, John and I and Chris, and we bought 2 4x8 beadboard sheets and put them next to each other and basically created a 4x16 bounce and hoisted it up in your rafters with some pulleys and stuff. And then we took 6 par cans and shot them up into it and created this really soft source that kind of created the ambient. And then we kind of just filled in from the front and did whatever we had to do.
did you have to use the Toda?
Actually, I think we did.
I don't know. We
We
might
used it
have
for some
used
green
it way in the
screen.
back
think-
for like a little
Yeah,
I think we
fill.
did.
I think we did.
You know, but
Try not
what
to.
you're saying, about the way that you put that lighting rig together, I think is important because, given what you have, that's kind of important. Like when you're on a big shoot and you have a huge budget, obviously you're just going to get a 3 or 5 ton grip truck, and then you just have everything, and you just run out there, grab it, put it up, and it works. But there's a lot of people who are, our independent film crowd, and like Ryan and I, when we started this company, we started our first couple shoots. We had lights from Home Depot, like the work lights. The work lights. They're $50 per set or something, and they were like 500 watts a piece, so we could get a 1K essentially, and then the other one on the other side, and we used wax paper, actual wax paper. It would start burning after a little while.
Just got to replace it.
Yeah.
For diffusion, and
The person being interviewed is like, guys, was that supposed to be doing that? No, it's okay. That means we got 2 more minutes left of filming. It's going to be fine, man.
But, we made it work, and, it probably took a little longer, and certainly if you've got high-profile clients or something, it's not going to really work. But, yeah, if you don't have it, like, I mean, that's the same thing that you would have if you had the grip truck.
Yeah.
It's just a giant white bounce.
Yeah.
However it's made and however it's rigged up there.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, I probably would have done the same thing if I had a grip truck. I would have rigged it differently, and it would have been on stands and whatnot. Maybe I would have used like foam core instead, but I think it worked out well. It turned out well.
Yeah, how much of that is problem solving when you're gaffing and gripping and setting up lighting?
Like constantly, it's because like like certain lights won't fit someplace. You maybe have to bounce it from over here and stick a white card there, or you have to. It's just like constant. Like working with your environment, it's always different. You never know what you're going to get.
I think too, you do that really well, and you're very adaptive. So like, I think like the use of your like a shower curtain, like you find really unusual ways to be able to get the job done, and I think that's really cool. And like even when you came in today, we're hanging you're like, what do you have? And we're like, lamps in the hallway. But then we found something, and you put it up, and it helps. So I think that's really cool. That's probably also why you're really good at your job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, because you can like look at that and then make a quick decision.
Yeah.
And you bring shower curtains everywhere.
Yeah.
Just in case
That's
it's
not
wet out.
creepy.
In any other profession, it would be creepy.
Yes.
Not in the
Not
lighting.
here.
You guys
And
want
it's
to take a
like-
shower?
He's like,
Yeah.
shower curtain, rope, and knives.
Yes. Was
are
that
you
in the
a murderer?
movie Saturday night? Yeah.
I think it's time for me to get a new lawyer. He came to the trial with a shower curtain under his arm. It was kind of weird. I think it's time for me to get a new lawyer.
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of
50
Shower.
Shades of shower curtains.
Shower curtain gray.
This just became some weird, like, psycho 50 Shades of Grey combo. It's weird.
What's some movie with really interesting lighting you could think of, and what makes it stand out?
I'd say I'd more reference a show.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Sherlock?
Yeah.
Sherlock
yes.
is just amazing, and the amount of time they have to do that is just like they don't have much time at all. But they come up with some of the most beautiful imagery, and I guess the cinematographers. I mean, he's just really good, and the shots are really good, but also the lighting, how it's just kind of natural and has this kind of is it blue tones and like it's a little desaturated and whatnot. I love that show. First time I saw it, I watched it all the way through like 3 or 4 times.
Going along with that, is that something, because like I know for editing and the writing I do, I will watch a show and I will really pay attention to like the story or like how they use shots or when they cut, how long do they let that angle go before they cut away. Do you watch movies and shows and just kind of like go, so I wonder what they did for the lighting there. Did they do
Every
this?
time.
Like, so it's good to know that that's kind of like everybody, when you have a passion, you'll sit and kind of watch that and kind of try to dissect it.
It's a little annoying though because like you get distracted, but if like if the movie's really good then, because like then like if it is good, then you'll get pulled away from that and you won't look at that.
Right.
You're like, shit, I forgot to look at the lighting. That looked really good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's the follow-up thought that with directing or any craft in the progress that we like to ask, because I feel like it's kind of like sports. You could watch a game, and if you don't know football rules, you're just gonna be like, "What the hell's going on?"
Especially if it's a baseball game.
Yeah, especially if you don't know football rules and you're watching baseball. But with like cinematography and directing and that sort of thing, I find that much of the time it enhances the experience. Like knowing sports enhances, what's going on. But like you mentioned, I feel like it can be distracting, especially when the movie's just not good.
Yeah.
So instead of adding to it, it pulls you out, and you're like, okay, well, that was a weird ass move, or that's stupid lighting, or stupid cut.
Is there something that you've seen that you're like, oh, that could have been so much better if the lighting was better? Can you think of a?
It's hard to say because like a lot of lighting it may look really bad, but it's meant to look bad. Like a lot of like Hollywood blockbusters and stuff, they're meant to look that way. It's a specific style. It may not be as pleasing to the eye, but it really, like, if you're in a doctor's room, I mean, there's a lot of overhead lighting,
Right.
and it's not supposed to look pretty.
Sure.
Or maybe it's meant to convey the mood of the character who's, in there getting checked for something.
Like turn your head and cough.
Yeah.
And then the lights
that
go
actually
off.
that reminds me of so in film school everybody learns your 3-point lighting. Apparently I just ate something.
There was a bird that flew in your mouth.
John just ate part of his lung. It's cool. Don't
You
worry.
got your key light, your fill light, and your backlight. But when we shoot the movie, and when you're shooting, like you said, doctor's office is all overhead or whatever. Like, I think sometimes we might oversimplify it. Inexperienced filmmakers, you might just go for that key, fill, and backlight, and you not think about like, well, wait, but what would be natural here? What would be in this scene, or what would be,
Well, I mean, like in ways that's a proper way to think about it. I mean, you always start with your key, usually, and then you kind of work your way around that. But with I guess take for example the castle, all that stuff. We had torches that are giving off all this light, so we're like, well, this will give off key that person. So it's not like I need a light right by camera over here. It's more of well, what can I do to augment that light that's coming and enhance it? I thought we came up with a pretty good solution with that. It's like a sequence, like a
Yeah, that's right.
square
That's
sequence
right, for the
kind
fire.
of thing that was kind of bouncing,
Yeah.
gave a little texture and stuff.
Look here.
There it is.
That's where we're showing it.
Oh,
the
yes.
sequence.
So
right
it's
here.
never up there.
No, it's never
we,
up.
We'll shrink up into the corner
And
and,
it's
then
down
it's down
there.
here.
It's over there,
There.
guys. Yeah, it's this way.
do our voices
Yeah.
get higher when we
here.
go up?
For six
When
six
we shrink.
episodes, it's always everybody look up there, and I put it down here because I tried putting it up there, and it just looked weird, and I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
it's gonna be down there now. So
It's for the best.
so what am I putting down there?
The one of the castle scenes where we have like the fiery sequence, something else from Jordan's murder kit.
Yes.
I suppose.
Shower curtain. And
Is that from
sequence.
a victim?
Yeah.
It was a dress.
I feel like with
there was that peach-colored bounce that one time. It looked pretty leathery.
I feel like we could introduce a new name for a kit of lights by just be like whatever Stinger and Gaffer, just nickname. We'll just call it the Murder Kit, and it's
The
this
Murder Kit.
weird collection of pieces that gets used.
It'd be a grip or gaffer like side buddy kit. And that's what it would be. Side
I need to go
buddy
get my Murder Kit right back. Okay?
fishing line. What else is in your kit?
Oh, yeah, fishing line you used the one time.
Yeah, I got like some string lights and some Christmas lights.
It's like
Got a little ring light too.
I'm just thinking of it in terms of murder now.
horrendous. Oh my goodness.
What else do I got?
What
I'm
is
not
that
gonna
all add
know.
up to?
I don't know.
So
Just a whole
guys,
bunch of
Jordan's not
fabrics.
going to be part of the film anymore, right?
He's like, I have this knife with a hook and a toenailer. Like, what's a toenailer?
We can use this. Don't worry. We need to get the light right.
Everyone just close your eyes.
I'm going to turn off the lights while I set the lights up. Hold on.
Murdered. Now you're murdered.
What's the weirdest thing you've used to light or to diffuse or out of your
Used
murder
my
kit?
shirt before.
Or murder.
Yeah.
Like off your back?
Yeah.
Were you shirtless?
No, I had
Picture.
I had an
Yeah.
extra shirt. I had an extra shirt. I've also used like
Like I just-
plastic wrapping of a refrigerator. Like a refrigerator was like wrapped in plastic, and I took that plastic off and used that to diffuse
Nice.
some things. Yeah, I don't know what else.
Yeah, so what are common items?
I think that answers the question. It's pretty weird.
What are
Yeah.
more common items that you could use? I mean, or common things that you're doing to lights. Are you diffusing them a lot? Are you cutting them? Are you changing the color a lot? What do you and what are common things that you can use to do that?
In like the DIY setting, or
Yeah,
okay,
sure. In the murder kit setting.
murder kit setting. I mean, like a lot of times I'll bounce stuff. I mean, you always have white walls around you, and you can just shoot a light into a wall, and then you got a soft source. I mean, a lot of like with the Toda, you could do that, and you could have a nice key light possibly.
You can't even
Possibly.
say it.
Possibly.
That's nice. That's not. You're being very generous
Yeah.
to the soda light.
Maybe. I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Alternate dimension.
Fucking murder people.
Yeah, I mean, there's always stuff like you can find around. I mean, just to tape something up, or I mean, you can. I mean, I've used like plywood for bounce if you wanted it a little bit warmer. I've used that. I mean, you just got to be creative, and like you really got to know what you want and how light works. And once you kind of know that, you're like, okay, well, we can use like this cup, and we can cut a hole in it, and we can shine a light through it or something. And I mean, you can create a snoot or something.
Bless you.
It's all those terms. They're just like it's to keep everybody else out of their
Yes.
way.
Yeah, like us.
I feel
We
like,
don't know anything.
I feel like for this episode, I'm going to have the lower thirds popping on
little
with
definitions?
definitions
Oh, nice.
of what he just said. No, it's more work.
Also, we could have him do it. What's a snood?
A snoot.
No, that's what I said. You misheard.
A snoot is
You're obviously saying it wrong.
it's basically it focuses the light in a
Like a snout,
it's like a cylinder.
but pronounced British.
yes, a snoot.
A snoot.
Oi, where's that snood?
Grab a go some of those say 48s on.
What I get about it? What's it about it? Snoot.
So you keep a stack of red Solo cups then in your murder kit as well.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yes.
For
Yes.
For
It's
drinking and maybe to make a snoot.
Yes.
totally for the drink.
So what about the science? Because I've read a lot, with cinematography and like American cinematographer and stuff, and I feel like the older generation who had to work with film had to measure everything and know the measurements of everything. Like you mentioned before, the light meter, but also like you were just talking about bouncing light. And knowing all those facts. And I think I vaguely remember hearing about that in school of, you move a light a certain distance away and you half it and you quarter it and blah, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with a certain kind of bounce and things like that. How much?
Twice the distance, half the light. I was in that class.
Boom.
I was paying
So
attention.
how much? So stay in school, kids. This
You
guy's
live
the
in
example. No. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you've probably heard horror stories. Real quick, I went there for a year, and you're supposed to do this piece in one of the filmmaking classes, and it was kind of written and directed by you with whatever was available. And I did something that I thought was interesting, obviously, and kind of goofy. It was like a psychological in this guy's head, and we were cutting in between his reality and then actual reality, and it was kind of fun. Didn't get a good grade. And then the kid who was like literally the teacher's pet and, the desire of the department ended up doing this piece with his cat. Nice cat, but he was rolling around with the cat and the camera, and they were licking each other, and then they were like underwater or something, and like that was the quality that was there.
50 Shades of Tabby.
So then I thought maybe I'll go somewhere that'll teach me how to make money with my craft, which I apparently didn't learn anything from. So back to the science. How much of that plays into what you do? Do you think about that a lot?
Yeah.
Do you have you just bought a light meter, didn't you?
Yeah.
You're getting older, right?
Yeah. I think it's old. When you get older, you buy the light meter. No.
Yeah, the bigger your beard
bigger
gets.
beard, yeah. You obviously think it's always in the back of your mind. You're always thinking about like, it's just second nature really. It comes like, oh, if we move this far away from the light, it'll take the light down by this much. So we need to amplify it up or do something else or bump up the ISO or something. So you're always thinking about that. And I should say that there was when I went to Milwaukee, there was this film, student film, who, that horse, the Amazon horse mask?
The horse head, yeah.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of those. And the horse was in space. It was in a ship. And it had a
that makes sense.
Big window.
Yeah, of course.
And the horse went up to the window, turned around, and looked at some planet and started jacking it. That happened for about like 5 minutes. And,
What?
yeah, that's pretty good.
So, how was the lighting in that film?
Yeah.
That was all right.
And that's the day that I knew I wanted to be in film.
Hey guys, is that video playing right now?
The moral of this story is don't let experiences like that stop you
Yes.
from wanting to create good things.
Just
But
to
I
be
mean-
sure, nobody look down there right now.
I mean, not to talk bad about Milwaukee. I mean, like I met a lot of great people there, and it was great for the amount of like the people that I met.
Oh yeah. You don't talk shit. I'll talk shit. That's fine. Yeah.
But I mean, it was a nice school, and whatever. I'm glad I'm out and working.
Well, and I think it is in networking because, I mean, I really liked where I went to school in UW-Madison, but I didn't learn much about, like, working in the industry
you don't.
there. And you don't really get that until you get on a set,
Yeah.
so until you start working with professionals and, getting ordered around to go pick up the snoots, whatever.
What's like one of the biggest things that you've learned, or maybe one of the most important things you've learned one of your first times on set?
I think the most important thing I've learned is don't touch things you're not supposed to touch, such as lenses, or if you're a grip, maybe just stay away from the lenses. I mean, just because not that like you're gonna break them, but like it puts you in a position where
you could break
them, and if you break them, you're not gonna get called again. Because I mean, that could be like a $40,000 lens. It's just don't put yourself in certain situations where you don't have to.
And I think it also plays into know your role a little bit too. Because if you're a grip and you're touching lenses, unless for whatever reason you're pulled in by the camera department, don't touch anything unless somebody's told you to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the DP says grab that lens for me, you better grab it. But like if the AC's just like go over there and get some lenses, and I mean if it's like in a box, it's fine. But like you just don't want to put yourself in those kind of situations.
Well, and that's one of those adjustments from film school and independent filmmaking where you're doing everything.
Everyone.
And you've got, it's just you, and so you have to do everything. And then when you get on a real set, like you said, you've got to know why you're there, what you were hired for, and just stick with that.
Have you ever had any awkward situations? Have you been put in any awkward situations? For instance, I was working as a PA, but I was helping the DP / director. I was like right there with the producer, and they're like, "Hey, go grab one of these," and I was like, "Okay." And I walked in, and I started to walk up the grip truck to grab one of those, and like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, he said to go grab this," and they're like, "No, don't touch anything." And I was like, "Okay."
Fortunately, I haven't been in very many positions like that because I work with Perry Perkins, who owns Light Force of Wisconsin. He's taught me quite a bit of what I know today. He's been doing it for 30 years. So he actually, a funny story. So he and a few other guys basically started what it meant to be like a grip in Wisconsin. Because like before, when he first started, everyone would just kind of do everything. Basically, you show up to set, you wouldn't know what you're doing. And they'd be like, okay, you're doing lighting today, you're doing sound, you're doing camera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he kind of helped like create a grip and what it is, and like basically like be ready for whatever.
What is that, like your power belt, your tool belt right there?
That's the portable murder kit.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Not to say he invented that, but like he kind of brought it up in Wisconsin and made it a thing. So that was something that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. And when was that he was doing that? 30 years ago?
30, yeah, 30 years ago. Like when he first started, I believe. Yeah. I've learned a lot from him.
A little bit of history there.
So when do you start creating your style? Because maybe this is an opinion question, because there are those, the directors anyway. I can't think of the lighting people, but like, okay, Michael Bay has his thing that he does, and Spielberg obviously has his thing that he does. And we've talked about like getting out of the way is usually a good thing. Like it allows you to get into the story, and then you see that camera whip around the person 3 times, and you're like, thank you, Michael Bay. So is that a good thing if you start like, this is me, this is what I do every time? I always put the black card right there.
Like,
just
that's
one
Jordan
negative
Post.
film.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
murder shower.
You kind of develop it after a while. I mean, just kind of like, I really enjoy gripping a lot because I work with all these people who have been gaffing or shooting for 20, 30 years, and I learned just a ton from them. And like for a while, I was gaffing for a little bit, and like I just kept gaffing, and it was nice, but like I wasn't learning anything.
You're just kind of making
as much
stuff up.
Yeah, so it's like it's really nice to step back into that role and just observe, and not have to make decisions like that. It kind of like develops your style then too, because you're like, oh, this person does this, and I really like it, so I'll incorporate that next time into a shot. And I mean, it might not be right for certain situations, but it's right for other situations. So.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that's a challenge or an opportunity that now we have technology at a cost that we can start a business 7 years ago and start doing stuff ourselves and making it up? Whereas the typical methodology is go and you work. I mean, you're doing a little bit of both, right? Yeah, I mean, you didn't go out to California and start just as a peon for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
You started as an intern, but then started working on bigger projects, and then started doing a lot of freelance gaffing and things like that. So to round that back out, do you think that's a challenge or an opportunity, or what would you encourage people to really do to hone their skills?
It depends on the person. They may. I mean, like me, I have a family. I have a son and a wife, and like it doesn't make sense to like go move to California and be in a union, because unions you work like 14-hour days for 6 days for 3 months, and I wouldn't see anyone. Here, it's like I can work for like intermittently, like throughout the month, and I've worked 15 days. It's like that's a great month, and I can afford to live and whatnot. So it's kind of nice in your own business person and whatnot. And I mean, it's nice. The union has benefits, and being freelance has benefits. But it all depends on, I guess, the person who. I mean, if like you're just out of school and you want to go learn a ton, go be in a union. Go to Chicago, go to New York, go to anywhere, and just be in a union. And you'll learn a ton, because they'll have all the right equipment, they'll have all the big budgets, and you'll see everything. But I mean, like then again, you might not want to work on that kind of stuff. So it's. I mean. Maybe you just want to work on commercials, or I don't know what it is. It depends on the person, I guess.
Do you think it's changing at all, like with technology? I guess I don't have a lot of experience out there, but I wonder if like, because sometimes I feel like some of the things that I see from bigger productions or other companies, granted I want to be there, I want to do bigger productions, but I also feel like sometimes it's maybe a carryover from an older way of doing things, or you know.
It definitely is. Like, I mean, I'll work on jobs where it's like they have like 50 people there, and it's like, well, you get one person to get the C stand, you get one person to get the bag, you get one person to get the light, you get one person to get the stinger, and it's just like, that's dumb. Like, you don't need that. I mean, one person.
Unless you're the ad agency.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
get your.
I don't know. It's just 50%. Like there's all these ridiculous roles. Like you need a. I mean, like sometimes it's like necessary, and like you need a second AC, but sometimes there's like you have a fourth. I mean, like union rules require certain jobs to be filled, and some of those jobs don't really do anything. But I mean, there's also a time and place for everything. I can't speak directly on that, but I mean, like now with technology these days, like anyone can go out and buy like a T2i and like a lens and just start shooting. And I don't know. I mean, they can create stuff. It may not be good, but I mean, they'll learn, and I don't know.
Yeah. So say I don't have $3,000. I'm in college, or just out of college, or maybe I'm in high school, or maybe I've just been bored. But I want to do film, and I need lights. What's something that I can do for as low cost as possible? I mean, we've talked a little bit about using available things, but in terms of if you were given zero budget and had things that you could grab or steal. But wait, that doesn't work, because you could steal from us or a production house.
I know you take that Toda right away.
We're going.
Recommend that Toda.
We're going down the wrong path. But to the beginner, what would be some lights to have, or some things to think about?
I mean, just like, you talking like Home Depot, or like just no money at all?
Home Depot, my house.
Yeah, I mean, like
he will take your house.
What is nice? Like you guys have the China balls, like the little Chinese lanterns. Those actually can create a really nice soft light, and like even on like huge productions, we use those. And I mean, if you can throw like a 150-watt bulb in there, and it'll create a nice key light. And then you can do the same for an edge light, and maybe throw something in the background, and those are like, I think, $12 a piece, and then whatever the bulb is. So, I mean, those are super nice, and they're super compact. I mean, otherwise you can use Home Depot lights, or, anything. Just use available light too. I mean, I mean, that can be a very big thing. It can look more beautiful than using like artificial lights.
What about flags and bounces and that sort of thing? Because even here, when we've had some stuff, we've seen you build things and use other available things, like your shower curtain. I hope it's not your shower curtain.
Oh,
like you're
from your
missing
home.
a shower curtain.
Yeah, like you get a call from Brittany. She's like, "Damn it, Jordan! Now we're not showering." You're like, "It's noon. What are you doing?"
Yeah, I did buy it specifically.
Okay, good. For the murder kit.
For the murder
For
kit.
the murder kit.
And the
But yeah,
murder
I mean,
utility
you kind of just make things work with what you have. I mean, it's just knowing the concepts. I mean, if you gotta get on set and like see how stuff's done, and once you've seen that, you can kind of use different tools that you find around the house or find around anywhere on set to create something.
Is there a light or a technique or something you've been dying to do that you haven't had a chance to work with yet? Where you're like, oh, I would love fill in, you know. Have you worked with everything?
This setup is that, right?
This is it.
Plus the-
You couldn't wait to hang
Doesn't
up
get
that
any
little
better.
light
Yeah.
over
We
there.
barely have these lights.
Yes, I know.
He cried a little when he
I
got in there
know.
and saw this.
He's like, is this all you have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that.
It was a question. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, the Toda. I mean, that'd be the one light I haven't worked with that I'd love to.
Now's your opportunity.
I love to work with like dynos, just like really big lights. I've worked with pretty much every light except for like the really, really big ones. And it's like the
Dino for dinosaur, Dino for a guy named Dino.
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called Dino.
Is it just a big light?
It's like a whole bunch of little 1,000 watt power bulbs, and it's probably about 8 feet by 8 feet.
Nice.
And you like put it up on a condor and fly it in the air. It's basically what they use for like Django Unchained, like for the backlight. And like the really big soft boxes would be really cool to work with too. Like, have you guys seen the behind the scenes photos of Django Unchained?
No.
There's a really cool one of the field, which Jeff will put up over there.
Down there, down here. It's over there. No, stop pointing in different directions.
Right here.
It's all over the place.
It has like this really big soft box. It's you know the scene where right after the Ku Klux Klan members like talk about their hats or their masks. It's right after that where they blow up the carriage. And there's this really cool behind the scenes picture where they have this huge softbox overhead and you can see like some really big lights in the background. I've always been like really into like the big stuff. 'Cause I mean like there's a difference of using like a 20K and a 650 because the quality of light.
650?
650 watts, yeah.
Wow,
So
okay.
2,000 or 20,000 watts.
Yeah,
compared
versus
to
650.
650. The quality of light is a lot like better. I don't know. There's something like about big fixtures that like it's really nice light, and that's why they use them.
Well, it seems like what you were talking about earlier. Like, if you can use all natural, use that because it's such a nice light.
Yeah.
With a giant, 20K, 100K
Yeah.
sunlight or whatever, soft sun, you're trying to imitate.
Yeah.
That
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the sun's really the best light there is. I mean, that's what sometimes you just, when you're outside, you typically don't have to use lights on a sunny day because you can just like bounce lights or bounce the light and like diffuse it and, manipulate it into how you need to use it.
Have you seen any of? We were reading with like the Grand Budapest Hotel, and then old movie making in the studios where they would have the sunlight. What is that called with the hole in the roof?
Skylight?
Skylight. And
Least
they
he's
would
on
break
top
it
of
up,
this.
break it up with a prism or something, and then just bounce all the lights around.
Yeah.
Because in early days of filmmaking, they didn't have the kinds of lights and technology that we had. Have you seen any of that ever? Or?
No, I mean like I've definitely like taken like mirrors and like bounced light from outside that's inside and like bounced it over there and
nice.
I bounced it with another mirror. And I've like done that on set, but like
Nice.
I've never seen it to like that scale.
We should start doing that.
We
Yeah,
do have one.
Do you want to do that?
That would be amazing.
Hey, Steven, can you open up the skylight real quick?
It's probably too dark now.
Talk us through.
no.
No, that'd be so.
Push it down.
Looks like it's pretty dark.
Would have been epic.
Okay, so tell us
Yeah, it's too dark.
what's happening to our quality of light.
Nothing really.
We waited.
Nothing's
Here,
happening.
yeah, take a picture. Take a.
It was too long.
We've been here too long.
We've been here. It's video, by the way.
What?
Well, then I can cut to this angle later.
So many videos.
Oh yeah, that's
it could've been.
fancy.
All right, you can close it. Thanks.
We're gonna
Thank you, Stephen.
we're gonna start doing that. We're
It's
just
so
gonna-
cool.
That's what's gonna set us apart.
Yeah.
Taking a lot longer to
lot
do
of
the
mirrors.
same thing.
Open the sky. Oh, yeah. It might be cheaper. $3,000 in mirrors and
Yeah.
You could like shoot
prism.
in a 20-minute window every day.
Yes.
Oh man, that would suck.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Yeah, you're gonna have to do that. We're gonna bring you on to do
Yeah, sounds good. I'll make it work.
that. So, are there any other? I think we're winding down to our hour or a
Yeah.
little beyond.
Yep.
Are there any other thoughts that you want to impart on our impressionable audience or me or John?
We've covered a lot. I mean, Do you guys have any questions at
Oh,
all?
one, puppets, lighting puppets, like versus lighting people. Has that been any different? Because you're the gaffer, primary gaffer.
Yeah.
Most of the time, gaffer. You're there like most of the time, like 60%. That's above 50. But something with the tone of light or the on puppet skin instead of regular skin.
Not. I mean, you can get away with a lot more if you can because they don't have like the deep set eyes where like, you can just like throw a hard light on them if you have to. But I mean, it's typical. I mean, it's pretty much the same as like you light a person.
Are you saying my eyes are deep set?
Yes.
We all get lost in your eyes. He doesn't mean deep like that, does he? No, he
I
doesn't.
mean, you have to be careful with like reflections a little bit, but
Yeah.
I mean,
You're gonna want that.
apart from that, I mean, it's
So you're saying you'd rather work with puppets all the time?
yes,
Maybe some more
all the
lights.
time.
Maybe.
Why did you say that?
All the video guys shoot from now on. We'll have to.
We'll be puppets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's a niche
wait.
that hasn't been filled.
No.
I hope you're ready for this. Yeah. If our audience could watch one movie right now, what would it be?
Django Unchained.
Django Unchained. There it is. Well, Jordan Post, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about all things bright and
Murder Kitty.
Murder Kitty. That's exactly what I was going to say. We finish each other's
Thoughts?
sandwiches.
And dreams.
Thanks, Jordan.
Nailed it.
We were
Oh,
wonderful.
you want to come up with a tagline? We don't have an end to this, so you could just end it with any tagline you want. Perfect. All right. Done.
You're gonna cut to that every episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Correct, it is now.
Go ahead and turn that down all the way. Yeah, thanks. All right.
I'm gonna be sitting here for a while going, why is there no
Here we
audio?
go.
Why is there no audio? Why is there no
Ready?
audio?
Play
Is
it
the sound
around.
on? Is the sound on now?
Wait, what sound?
The sound
Your
for
phone's
that.
not on.
Oh.
Because there was no beeping or noises.
Damn it.
Okay.
Jeff.
All right. I see what your plan was.
There we go. Okay, now we'll have the beeping.
Volume.
Did you stick your finger in this?
No, I didn't. Not that finger.
Give it a little bit.
You're like, not yet.
Oh, not
Tatar, where are the leprechauns? Tatar.
Leprechauns.
No, not leprechauns.
Irish.
There we go.
Damn it, we can't do this. Oh, hello.
You're topping all that shop.
British.
Yeah.